Hello everyone, and welcome to lesson 31, where we're going to cover the remaining key signatures. Now in the last unit we talked about a few of the key signatures, up to 2 sharps and 2 flats. So we have the key of C, the key of G, the key of D, and then on the flat side the key of F and the key of B flat. Today we're going to talk about the rest of the scales. So altogether, if you read here at the top, there are 15 major scales. There are 7 sharp keys, you know 2 of them. There are 7 flat keys, you know 2 of them, and the key of C, which has no sharps and no flats. So you always have to remember that. The key of C has no sharps, no flats. Starts on the note C, ends on the note C, and everything is natural in between. Now, if you know how to build tetrachords, which is what the last unit was all about, then you should be able to build any of these scales. Because remember, all you have to do is start on whatever note is given, and then build your tetrachord. Right? So if we're in the key of A major, for example, I'll do one of these with you. We start on the note A, right? Building a tetrachord, we follow a whole step away. A would move to B. Whole step from that, B would move to C sharp, right? It's here in the key signature. So A, B, C sharp, and then a half step from C sharp is D. So here's the first tetrachord. To finish the scale, we need to link the first with the second. We use a whole step, so from D to E is a whole step. All right, then we start the tetrachord again. E to F sharp, which is in the key signature, right, is a whole step. F sharp to G sharp, which is also in the key signature, that's a whole step, and then G sharp to A. So we have whole, half, whole step linking, whole, half. And that gives us the complete A major scale. Now, remember, we name the scale based on what the first note is. So this scale starts on an A, we call it A major, right? Looking over here, if we start on an A flat, and we get that from the key signature, right? There's a flat sign here where the A should be, so this is the A flat major scale. We always name the scale based on what the first note is. So there are 15 total, right? 7 sharp, 7 flat, and then the key of C. And this just goes over them, so I'm going to scan through them real quick, right? A major, E major, B major, F sharp, and C sharp. And they increase in the number of sharps. So A major has 3 in the key signature, E has 4, B has 5, F has 6, and C sharp major has 7. Okay, very similar are the flat keys over on this side. So E flat at the top here has 3 flats, A flat has 4, D flat has 5, G flat has 6, and C flat at the bottom has 7. Now remember, you find those accidentals, or the notes that belong in the major scale, by building tetrachords, right? And they never change. So once you've built it once, if you can remember that, it'll always stay the same for your major scales. Okay, a few other little things here at the bottom just to go over them. The complete order of sharps in the key signature is F, C, G, D, A, E, B. If you can memorize this, it's going to make your life so much easier, right? And if we look, just as an example, in this key of C sharp, which we talked about having 7 sharps, it's in this order. So F sharp is the first sharp, then C sharp, then G sharp, then D sharp, then A sharp, E sharp, and then finally B sharp. Right? And if you go backwards, it's the same one, you just take off one each time. So F, C, G, D, A, E. Here for B majors, F, C, G, D, A, and so forth and so on. Okay? And then they just created a saying that you could use, or you can make up your own, whatever. Fat cats go down alleys eating bread. You know, funny enough to where you might remember it. And then the opposite is true for flat scales. So if you can memorize the sharps, just do the flats backward. B, E, A, D, G, C, F, which is the same thing here, just opposite, right? And that's the order of flats, which you see it over here. So the scale with 7 flats, C flat major, is B, E, A, D, G, C, F, all of those being flats. And you just take away one if you reduce the number of flats. Okay, one other thing. We talked about enharmonic notes in the last lesson, but just so we're on the same page here. There are 12 unique sounding scales, 15 in total, but 12 unique sounding scales. The following are enharmonic scales, which means they sound the same, but we would write them out differently. B major sounds the same as C flat major, but they're spelled differently. F sharp sounds the same as G flat, but they're spelled differently. And then C sharp major sounds the same as D flat major, but they're spelled differently. Okay? I'm going to zoom out a little bit here so you can see the exercises. All right, take a second, go through those, then we'll do them together. All right, question 1 says to name the following major key signatures. So, 3 sharps here for the first one. If we look up above, that is the key of A. Key of A, right? So we just write that down, key of A. 3 flats is the key of E flats major. Remember, when you're writing the accidental, it goes after it, whenever you're writing the note out like this. 4 sharps is the key of E. 4 flats is the key of A flats. 5 sharps is the key of B. And 5 flats is the key of D flats. Question 2 says to write the following key signatures. Now, these always look the same, so make sure you study the top of the page that I just showed you a little bit. They're always going to look the same. If you're in treble clef, they always look the same. If you're in bass clef, they always look the same. So E flat major in treble clef is 3 flats. B is first, E is second, A is third. And it follows that pattern, right? B, E, A, B, E, A. Just remember, this E flat goes up, and then you go back down to the A. E major has 4 sharps, F, C, G, and D. Right? It's bass clef, so make sure you put it on the right spot. A flat major has 4 flats, B, E, A, D. C sharp major, 7 sharps, you include all of them. Now we're in bass clef, so make sure you're in the right spot. F, C, G, D, A, E, and then B. 7 sharps. C flat major has 7 flats, treble clef here. B, E, A, D, G, C, F. Alright, and then finally A major has 3 sharps, F, C, and G. Now they always look the same. And just so you can see here, I kind of envision the sharps when we have all 7 of them put together as 2 diamonds, right, connected 2 diamonds, and then C flat, I see 2 straight lines. Now you do what makes sense to you, but they always have to look like this, right, and review to the top of the page earlier in the video if you have any questions. Alright, let me know if you have any questions, otherwise have an awesome day.